Hi, I'm the developer of FFB Bridge, a free tool that lets you bring old force feedback joysticks into the modern age with support for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, X-Plane 11 and 12 on Windows, Mac, and Linux. We also support Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. But today I'm going to show you guys something different and something that, as far as I know, hasn't been demonstrated before, and that is the MOZA AB9 force feedback base along with the MH16 flight stick working on Linux with X-Plane 12 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Yep, on Linux. So to do that, all you need to do is go and download the software. It's completely free. There's no app account, there's no telemetry, there's no, I don't want your data, none of that. Just put your email in to get the download and download it. You'll get an app image, which you'll download, to your downloads folder. To install it, all you need to do is go to the downloads folder, and then you got to make this executable. And once that's done, just execute it with the flag install. That will copy it to your applications folder, and it'll also create a little shortcut right here in your games. This works on KDE Plasma, and it also works on GNOME. If you're using some other desktop window manager, you probably know what to do to create your own launcher for it. But let's just load it up. Okay, I'm not going to go over the software right now because I really want to focus on the fun part of demonstrating this stick working in Linux. So we're just going to skip right to that part. Okay, keep your eye on the stick now. There you go. It is working. I want to try a effect. Before I press this, I will say these are exaggerated effects, which are much stronger than what the actual plane does, because, well, there are all sorts of sticks. I wanted to show you what it can do. But with this stick in particular, it kind of jumps off my desk, so I'm going to grab it the second I press this. Okay. So that's takeoff roll, exaggerated, and that's on surface type concrete. What if you're on ice? What does that feel like? Okay. So I think you can see that the forces are pretty strong and they come through really well. You can also see what it's like to fly with your flaps down, flaps 3 at 120 knots. So you can see the flap buffet. If you can move the flaps all the way to 0, I don't know if you can hear that. But that's the engine vibration. And that's with the flap buffet. Okay. And now let's take a look at it inside X-Plane 12. And then we look at it inside Microsoft Flight Simulator. So in the settings of my app, I have it set to auto arm and disarm. And so I'm going to go back to the dashboard and we will start X-Plane 12. And I'm going to start a new flight. We'll choose the Cessna Skyhawk. Yeah, all this looks good. So it's moving. So you'll see that what happens is that the app is constantly polling both the simulators to see which one is running, and as soon as they start sending out telemetry data, it will load up FFB Bridge. You'll see that happen right around when it gets, well, there you go. So see, it has detected that the sim is X-Plane. We're flying the Cessna. It automatically loaded the Cessna profile. It armed the stick, and we're ready to go. So right now, there's not much happening. Obviously, we're just on the ground. So you see there's a little bit of stick feel, but that's about it. If I move this, you can see on the left-hand pane, the commands coming through. And now I'm going to give it a little bit of power, and let's see what happens. I don't have my rudder pedals in right now, so I'm going to use my keyboard for the rudder. So bear with me on that one. This is a bit trickier than it seems with the... Actually a lot trickier than this. I think we'll be able to make this work. We can just get it to 55 knots. I think you can see the force effects coming through as I roll over the grass, and all right, that's much better. Sorry about that, guys. It's really hard without the rudder. Now we're going to just, the flaps are up. Okay. I see. I think you saw the stall warning come through there. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and use this with the mouse so you can see the stick moving, and I'm gonna try and do that here. All right, so let's see if we can. As you see trim effects are enabled. Whoa. I think you can see the stick moving in response to me trimming the plane, which is all very violent right now. Okay, let's get you back on track. All right, let's try that. Let's try just about there. Let's pull that down. Okay, so now what happens if you are trying to stall the plane? So let's do that. I wonder if I can do it from here. I think, yeah. As you can see, it works perfectly. There is no lag or anything like that. The effects come through. If I pull the flaps down, you should see the stick start to move rather violently as I go down. That's flap 1, it's buffeting. Flaps 2, flaps 3, and flaps 4. And now let's try going in for a landing if we can get this thing pointed in a direction. Listen, you try doing a demo while using a camera and doing a voiceover all at the same time. It's not as easy as it seems. All right, we're going to come in for a landing somewhere. Well, never mind. I mean, this is, I think I'm just going to crash so you can see what the impact is like. All right. And okay, so I know that wasn't the best flying experience, but I think you can see that the force feedback works really well, and this is just standard X-Plane 12 native in Linux. Really nothing much. You don't have to configure anything to do this. It just works. And now you can see that the second I quit, it picked up that the sim has been shut down and it instantly disarmed the device. So now let's try this with Microsoft Flight Simulator in Linux. So I'm not going to talk about how to install it. It's just Steam and Proton, and there's a ton of guides out there on how to do that. So the important part is really just how does this work in Linux. So if you're running this for the first time and it's not working, come here to the support health checks page and run checks. You will probably see this udev rule is not installed, and there'll be a little button here for you to just click and it'll do it for you. So there's more in the documentation which you can see over here. And if you go to install and you go down to Linux, it has everything you need. So this will tell you what the udev rules are. So again, not going to go into that right now. We'll just go straight through to Flight Simulator. Let's start it up. And I'm using the latest version of Flight Simulator, which is the beta 5.1, so I'm on Sim Update 5.1. It works just fine with Sim Update 5 and older versions too, I suppose, but that doesn't matter. Let's give it a second to start up. While it's loading, we'll take a look in here. And again, you'll see that, I'll move Steam out of the way, you'll see that right now there is no sim running and there's no aircraft. But as soon as Flight Simulator loads up to the menu, or just before that in fact, it will start transmitting telemetry, and FFB Bridge will pick that up automatically, and everything should just load up and should just work. We will give that a second. While this loads though, all All right, I don't want to do all of this right now. No. Okay, I think you can see that I have Flight Sim set up with pretty much everything that I use on Windows. But, okay. All right, so now we're at the main menu here, and again, you can see it picked up and it says sunrise because that is apparently how Flight Sim 2024 reports on Linux, I think. But the Beechcraft King Air was the last aircraft that I was flying, so it automatically loads. It has a matching profile for that, so it loads that. But again, just load in. Let's go to free flight. Let's load out of Toronto because that's where I live. And yeah, right now, and let's just go. I think you saw that. So that lets you know that that is engaged and alive, and you can see that Microsoft Flight Sim does things a little differently, so there's more feedback coming through, but it works pretty much identically across the two sims. Ready to fly. All right. Let's do this. And again. It's a bit easier with a twin engine plane. There's no need for the rudder so much. Okay, we are flying. Let's raise the. So if you go out, you see we got the gear down and the flaps are down. Let's raise the gear. And you should see this become smoother as I raise the flaps. So now that's become quite a bit smoother. It's hard to describe on camera, but I think maybe you can hear it. The other thing that you can do once you've got it sort of working is you can tune your aircraft. Like this is a very powerful and strong stick, so 90% is a bit high for this, frankly. That's more tuned for the Sidewinder, which is, I think, a fifth of this in terms of how strong it is. So I would put this more like 30%. Yeah, that feels a lot better. 90% is just too stiff. So you can do all of this while the flight is going. This is your trim follow, so as you trim the plane, the stick moves. And there's a ton of options, so I'm not going to go through that. But I think what I've done here is, and let me just disarm this. And you should see all the forces stop. And there you go. And it's engaged. It starts up again. And if you pause the sim, everything just stops. Like it's pretty safe that way. It doesn't send any commands unless the flight is live. All right, well, that was it. I just wanted to do a quick demo of the MOZA AB9 force feedback base working seamlessly with all force effects in Linux with both Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and X-Plane 12. I hope you guys enjoyed.